Welcome to REI Pro Talk, where real estate investors turn for the latest news, tips, and tricks from the real in the trenches pros. Tune in to hear Chris Goff, the nation's premier real estate investing powerhouse. Join up with other top pros in the investing world as they cover every topic. No fluff, no filler, no holds barred. All you need to know from start to paycheck.
Hey, this is Chris Goff, and thanks so much for joining me for this quick training video where we dive into one of our training webinars and talk about how do you find those cash buyers when wholesaling real estate. We're going to answer some questions, and we're also going to show you how to get into REI Pro and do this very quickly. So let's not waste any more time and jump in.
How you doing, Amita?
I'm doing good. How about you? Can you guys hear me or see me? Okay.
We
cool.
can hear you just fine.
I can hear you.
Oh my gosh. I was just commenting also about that probate thing. We literally just got done and we'll be closing on a property next week from probate we've been in probate with that property for 3 years since 2019. And we're just now getting ready to close on it. It's insane.
You don't have to believe just Chris because he said it.
Oh my God. It is that, but it's nice profit, but my goodness, it has been horrific just learning about probate. I mean, they know us by first name at all the probate areas in Fulton and DeKalb County now. So anyway, my question, the first question was, so we buy and hold a few properties. We got two that we bought and hold and we're investing in. But we love wholesaling a lot because we like to, the profit of it. We like to find the motivated seller and get a good deal to the end buyer. But now we're noticing a lot of changes are happening very abruptly with these end buyers, whether they're hedge fund or whether they're just smaller cash buyers. How do we as wholesalers approach the market now with the market being so, I guess, maybe a little volatile? How do we approach it now as far as when we're seeking out cash buyers? Because we've had hedge fund people just abruptly stop buying. We have cash buyers that are telling us things like they're not buying on purpose so that the market can either slow down or even crash a bit before they start buying again. How do we, as our wholesale division, how do we approach that?
I always looked at, there's always individual buyers.
Okay.
And I think almost I can't think of a major corporation or company or hedge fund or anything like that have actually bought a wholesale deal from me.
Okay.
They've all been kind of individual. I want to say kind of that, that landlord person out there. And you're in the Atlanta area?
Yes, Atlanta and Metro Atlanta. We buy in Snellville, from Snellville to City of Atlanta and everything in between. That's what we try to do. Yeah.
Well, we have somebody on here, Charlie. He's got, he's bought several properties in the Atlanta market, and he doesn't even live there.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't even live in Georgia.
We would love to connect with Charlie.
So, I think when you look for that individual buyer versus, it's kind of, I want to say, go back to the old school ways of just kind of marketing for that individual buyer. Next thing you know, what I did is when I started doing that, I started to get like several calls, and they were typically the individual guy that's looking to buy a house, probably rent it out. Sometimes they'll, fix it up and resell it, that rehabber.
Okay.
But I'll get 10 calls, but I already know there's only one buyer, right? Because I only have one house at that particular moment. So I take all their information. Next time I find a property, I just call those people again.
Oh, okay.
All 11 or 10 of those people and say, hey, this is Amita, and hey, we just found this awesome deal over at such and such, and just thought you might be interested. Just let me know. And then I would just keep making those calls to those individual hardcore buyers that are kind of in that local market. But I'm here to tell you, there's also a lot of buyers outside the market that are buying.
Right. I didn't think about that. So we should probably go on with REI Pro, the investors area that I think it used to be called cash buyers, and just start looking for, I guess whatever properties we lock up and then start looking for cash buyers that have bought in that area.
Yeah, you could
Okay.
literally design a postcard with your
Okay.
company and all that and say, hey, you find great deals in the area.
Okay.
If you're interested, we'd love to build a relationship with you.
Okay.
And, even go as far as building out what we call a landing page or a squeeze page,
Oh,
which just talks about you guys finding great deals and passing them along
okay.
to all the I call them retailers or rehabbers, whatever you want to
Okay.
call them, investors that want to buy those types of properties. It's another good way to start building your list. You can put a little bit of marketing, throw it on your social media. Hey, if
Yes.
you're interested in buying great deals in the Atlanta market, go to this
Oh, that's a good
website, fill
idea
out the information.
because we're
To
on
me, it's
IG
kind
as
of like
well.
going
Okay.
back to the old school way of doing things.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. That makes sense. And we will implement that ASAP. And thank you guys again for this whole platform because we literally was doing great deals last year. You remember when that COVID thing was going on and you
Yeah.
guys were doing the webinars every week. We were there and we were doing great deals. We've done great. So thank you guys for this platform. And it's been consistent since we've had it since 2019. So,
Awesome.
so to you
Well,
Well,
guys.
thanks for
thank you.
being with us since
Yeah, absolutely.
2019.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thanks again for that, for that answer.
All right, now that we're in REI Pro, the very first thing we want to do is pick a location. So I'm going to pick Austin, Texas. Next, what are you looking for? So we have a lot of different lead sources here. You want to go down to where it says investors. So these are going to be potential investors that have bought property in this area and are more likely to buy more properties. And that's the whole point. We talk about cash buyers and, looking for cash buyers. Look, I don't care if they paid cash, if they got financing, if they got private money. The fact of the matter is they're looking to buy real estate. And those are the people that I want to connect with. So we're going to then go ahead and click search. So as you can see, we have over 26,000, a lot, right? People buy real estate. One thing you may want to do is click our filters button. We're going to scroll down and you've got a lot of different filters to really pinpoint. If you went into estimated value, just as an example, let's say that we're looking for properties between just these two price points. Of course, you could go into potential equity. You could go into bedrooms, baths, just a bunch of things that you could really filter down to. But let's just change the price at this point because generally wholesaling, you're going to be in that middle price range and below. So that really dropped our number down just over 6,000. Now, one of the great things, especially if you're wanting to work in specific neighborhoods, that's a really big thing nowadays because, investors, are they renting? Are they rehabbing? Who cares? Generally, they want to be in fairly good neighborhoods. So what I want you to do is actually zoom in on the map. And I'm just going to take a random area here where I start to see dots. Now, once I zoom in far enough, I can click this neighborhood button here, and it's going to actually tell me all the different types of neighborhoods, what their names are. Now, of course, you'd want to be familiar with this general area so you can understand exactly what does this mean? What neighborhood is this? And so forth. Now, once I do this, one of the great things is I can now take my draw tool and say, okay, and I won't do this absolutely perfect here, but just for example purposes, I can now just specifically pinpoint very specific neighborhoods that I know investors are going to want to invest into more properties. So a really good for wholesalers that are looking to build relationships for, even landlords. Now, generally we say, landlords typically, buy in the more, depressed areas and they buy them as cheap as they can. They rent them out for as much as they can. But you also have investors that do invest in nicer areas. They do get better rents, better quality tenant, and so on. Another great feature here that I would recommend is our schools. So if you're that wholesale that's like, look, the people I know that I work with, they only work with good school systems. So we need to understand where those boundaries are. And that's another great feature that you can use. So I can go in and just start moving the map around and scrolling around, and I could see the different school systems. I could literally just kind of pinpoint whatever I want and add to my list. And that's kind of the beauty. Now, once I've gone through this and really have pinpointed exactly what I'm looking for, I can then go to my actions. I can select all the leads. And now you have a few options. Number one, you could add it to a marketing campaign here. You can send postcards straight out of REI Pro. You can mail letters. You can also just start working the property or export this list and do something else with it. Look, at the end of the day, all we're doing is trying to market people that would be potentially interested in buying more properties. That's the whole key. And those relationships, once you get them, makes your job so much easier, so much easier. Because next time you find a deal, all you have to do is just pick up the phone and call each person or shoot them a text, shoot them an email with information about the property that you just put under contract. You don't have to do all this expensive marketing once you build those solid relationships. So I hope this training video helped, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to REI Pro Talk. If you've ever wanted to jump into the real estate game, get started with the #1 software for real estate investors on the planet, REI Pro. Start for free at www.myreipro.com.